won all the 33 local government chairmanship seats at the polls. And the People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate in Edo State, AYODEJI, has refuted claims that he has a hand in the impeachment of the state's former deputy governor, Philip Shuaibu. AYODEJI, in a statement today, described the allegation as fake, said all news going round was cooked up to tarnish his reputation. AYODEJI had earlier said he remained focused on running a governorship campaign based on issues and devoid of distractions. One of the 2023 presidential aspirants of the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP), Dr. Cosmos Ndukwe, has resigned his membership of the PDP. This is contained in a letter written by the former Deputy Speaker, Abia State House of Assembly, to the chairman of his Item C ward in Bende local government area and copied to the state chairman of the party, Honorable Asifodo Okere, and the acting national chairman, Umar Damagon, respectively. The former chief of staff to the governor and the commissioner for works under ex-governor Keze Piazzo cited personal reasons, current commitment, and aspiration for his decision to quit the PDP. Now to Plateau State, the governor of the state, Caleb Mutfwang, has unveiled an e-governance platform in the state. The e-governance platform is aimed at fostering transparent, efficient, and accountable governance in the state. The governor, who disclosed this in a statement today by his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Giang Bere, encouraged the public to utilize the platform to engage the government and to offer information, opinions, and policies and inquiries on service offerings from MDAs while receiving timely feedback. And finally, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State will tomorrow lead governors of the South states for the Braced, Bayelsa Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, and Delta State Commission Governors Council meeting taking place in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. According to a statement, the meeting, among other issues, will focus on regional interests and addressing critical issues affecting the region, including power, security, agriculture, financing, and youth empowerment, among others. And that's the roundup.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was the political roundup. And, it is not going away. Election results, conduct, fallouts just don't go away. As much as we want to put this behind us and move on, it is certainly not going away. The elections that were conducted, local government elections in Oyo State, of course, there are reasons why the election outcome is not going away. You just heard the chairman of OSEC, Olaguju, Isaac Abiola, Iseka Olaguju. He said they were not saints. Nobody is saying they are saints. But you see, it's not about being saints. All people want is transparency. Nobody is saint? No. Nobody is a saint here. Even those who are listed as saint, whatever, they are human beings that were listed as saints. Yes, but all people require is transparency. You see, when the ground not level, as people call it, people become suspicious. That is just the thing. Election materials, granted, may not arrive. I have spoken to a rec in this state, and he told me the logistics challenges that they're usually confronted with. In fact, I got to see they had to be entering into an MOU with, what do they call them, NURTW. And NURTW people, they will say, okay, we're going to provide you vehicles. and then the vehicles will not come on time. They would have given them money for fuel. Some of them would not fill the tank. You are going to Okiogun. Then they start, all sorts of logistics. So it told me how they overcame. Wrote entered into an MOU with the transport union, got all the vehicles assembled the evening before, entered into an MOU with NNPC, got fuel directly from NNPC, and all of that, But in a situation where anybody, somebody was giving us a report, right in the heart of Ibadan, Babasara in Yemetu, he said the voting materials never got to those places. Right in the heart of Ibadan, Yemetu. It is, and they are not one, not two, not three people, verifiable. That is when people start asking questions. People call from Okiogun. Yes, there might be a little bit of an exaggeration and all of that. Somebody told me that they were there till 5 p.m. or something. Even me, when I was going home from the station, I stopped over many polling booths. Numbers that I stopped somewhere. It was after 2. They said they had gotten only 49 voters, And I know it's a densely populated area and all of that. So it is not about, we're not asking you to be sent anything about this matter. Well, when people start, those who hold public office, they start talking about good governance, I tell them, we don't need good governance. What we demand and require of you is transparency and accountability. These are the two things that will lead to good governance. Don't promise us good governance. Don't say you are delivering good governance. Deliver transparency. Deliver transparency. Governance is not a secret cult where everything is shrouded in secrecy. Transparency. Look, I was going through, I got to know. And then I said, government was, not necessarily Oyo State, government was borrowing money from a company, And it was another associated company that was awarded the contract. You borrow money, I borrow money from you, Then I award the contract for the construction of what I'm borrowing money to construct to your wife. How do government enter into such transaction? I borrow money from you, Victory, and now I award the contract, for which I borrowed money from you to your wife. I mean, that is not transparent. It is unethical. Yeah, and of course, you're not going to tell us it was any open bidding. It is even unethical. It is even unethical. And that company that the thing was even awarded to itself was given money by that same bank when it was being set up. So all of these, these transactions that are not transparent, that are opaque. I remember Moshood Abiola in his days when they were asking him about NNPC, and the man said the transactions of NNPC are as opaque as the crude oil in which they deal with. For saying that, he never got to the position. So, Mario Laguju is a friend of the media, a gentleman. As someone I've interacted with over a period of time, a friend of the media. You give him a call, he's available to speak to the media. And you just see that as a gentleman. But you see, politicians, and all of these things, let's just leave it like that. But interrogation must continue. The fact that results have been announced and press conference held and all of that, no? Interrogations, all of these things must be interrogated. I suspect that the miscalculation was that the last time APC did not participate, so that it was smooth sailing, you understand? But this time around, APC participated, and that one must have upset the apple cart. I've read reports, gotten reports. I even called somebody who is a secretary of a local government who was accused, of certain things during the election. I called him. I missed my call and he called back. And of course, he's somebody I know, and he gave me his own side of it. Fact, all of these things are not good enough. But they say democracy is not an event, it's a journey. We are evolving. Those countries that we, use as benchmark, the United States, France, they didn't get to this current location by sudden flight. They evolved. America since 1776, that's over 300 years. The French, they've been at it way longer than the Americans. And of course the British, who are products, who are the, who from where the United States evolved. So, but what I know for sure and for certain is that, you see, those who govern us, those who purport to lead us, the people will challenge them, and it's a matter of time. And that time is not so far away. I spoke to a number of people this morning, and they vented their spleen and, anger and all of that as regards what happened. That they shouldn't have bothered people, that they shouldn't have straight. And the annoying part was that state resources, that was deployed. We did a national election, we did over 300 billion. Only God knows how much this one cost Oyo State, That's what people are saying. Why do that when you know it was not intended to be? Of course, I'm not sure APC is going to cut. And people are just, and I read somewhere, a high-ranking party man put it on social media. He said, they did their own. We too were doing our own. Can you imagine? I just don't get. We don't. Well, let's leave it at that. Well, 3 states have been on our radar for quite a while: Edo, Rivers, and Edo, Rivers, and Ondo State. The drama in Rivers is not going away. It is looking like the drums of war maybe ringing again. But political chess, Wike Fubara resumes Rivers supremacy battle. How this has evolved. They said Fubara resorted, okay, that the governor expressed worry over the train and dared to resign from the office following high-handedness of his predecessor, which he considered a mouthful. Yeah, you see, governors should know that when they have done their 2 terms max, it is time to move away. I highly, so highly respect Senator Kashim Shettima, who former governor of Borno State, and who currently occupies the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic. When he had haunted Babagana Zulum, who was a member of his cabinet, it was head hunting. They investigated the man and saw that the man was playing and was just doing his job. I think he was commissioner for education and then for reconstruction. And billions were put in his charge, and he was found not to have taken anything. He was just doing his work. And the man had haunted him. Only very few people want to hand over to people like that. They want to hand over to people who will cover their tracks. So he had haunted the man. And as soon as Babagana Zulum became governor and he became senator, the man just left Borno and stayed in Abuja and stayed clear, totally, out of Babagana Zulum's way. In fact, the man's mandate was troublesome enough, being governor of Borno State. Borno in the heat of all the wahala of insurgency and all of that. So he didn't want to be an albatross. He stayed clear. I'm not sure. Maybe he must have suggested commissioners and all of that, and out of respect, But he stayed clear. If not for that, it is on good authority that Babagana Zulum was wooed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be his vice presidential candidate. But the man insisted that no, I would do no such thing, except you get a written note from former Governor Shettima. And he did as a because Shettima located himself in a place of honor if he had acted and tried to be governor by proxy if he had tried to be governor by proxy for a third term, well, it would have been a serious matter. I'll be back shortly. Yes, do Nigerians think they're a part of the government? I don't think so. I think it's a we, them thing. Yes, still talking about the drama in Rivers, The State Assembly vetoed some of the bills that they passed, and the governor vetoed the bills, and the State Assembly overrode the governor's veto. You see, I just came to a conclusion that it is most unlikely for the Assembly to try to impeach the governor again. If Obaseki can do 70,000 minimum wage, I don't have any doubt in my mind that Fubara will do 100,000. Edo does not have the money that Rivers have. And of course, he gave them 100,000 naira for Christmas, all civil servants. He's one of them. He was accountant general. So, if rather, I think the bone of contention we have been told is that it was taken, or it was taking 2 billion naira every month to all this machinery that Wiki was talking about. 2 billion of state resources. And, it was looking as if it was Wiki that was still oiling it. And Wiki is not the one that is governor. It is this man. So the man must let them know that I'm the one oiling the machinery, not Wiki. And I don't think Wiki has the resources. And even if you have the resources, will he want to bring 2 billion out of his pocket every month to oil my machines? I mean, not election, just to oil the machine. So how much will he spend when elections come? You do 2 billion every month for 12 months, that's 24 billion. And you do that for 4 years, 24 months. So, I mean, what that will cost before, fighting for election. So the fact is that that is no longer the captain. All these threats and all of that. And these people now know where their bread will be buttered. It is through Fubara. He's the governor. Accountant General, he knows the nook and crannies of the financial maze of the state. Accountant General, he knows the nooks and crannies of the financial maze. They are the ones that actually created the maze. So, even what the governor did not know, it was him that created and did all of this for him. And you have spent your time, two full terms, and you are lucky to even be the first, I think the first person that was minister of the Federal Capital Territory, a non-northerner, was Ajose Adeogun. Yes, Ajose Adeogun was minister for a very short while. People don't remember that man. You know, there's a particular street on Victoria Island named Ajose Adeogun. He was the first minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And since then, no southerner had been minister, if I remember correctly. And you had been minister. And of course, you have the equivalent powers equivalent to that of a governor. So, the man should honor himself. I'm not sure that if attempts at impeachment is made, I'm not sure. Yes, they may get the numbers, but the consequences is. And then when you even impeach the governor, would the deputy governor not do the same as soon as he has the powers? So these are the challenges. These are the challenges that honor, dignity. When you have done your 2 terms, go and sit down and honor yourself, or else you will be totally rubbished. Going to Edo State, Edo is also on our radar, just like Ondo and Rivers. Obaseki, well, it is understandable. Elections are ahead of them in Edo, and that is, we only call it a master stroke. I hope it is sustainable. And people are suggesting, if you do 70,000 minimum wage, people are suggesting that if it was 30,000 and then you pay a wage award of 35, that's 65. You cannot do any minimum wage that is less than 65. But what are going to be the consequences of that inflation-wise? We will see. Lagos is doing its own thing quietly without making much noise. And the Lagos workers are smiling home every month. 30% they did sometime in April last year, and they gave them, you know, the arrears January to April. A little bit of tweaking has been done recently. No noise, no media razzmatazz about it, and that is where they are covered. But when the president comes out in May 29 or whatever and announces 70,000 or 100,000, well, I do hope that will not kickstart another series of hyperinflation that we already have in the system. Yes, of course, it is apparent that there's a problem of fuel scarcity. Recorded again, it has been attributed, NNPCL remains the sole importer of products. And that means we're still importing products. We do not have PMS production. Yes, the production that we have from Dangote Refinery is Jet A1 fuel and AGO, the one we call diesel. Yes, it has positively impacted them because of the reduction. It used to sell for 1,008 or thereabout. I think we don't have it for 1,002 or thereabout. Yeah, 1,001, 1,002. Because Dangote has further reduced it to 940, depending on the quantity you are buying. So, but the PMS is not being produced yet. Port Harcourt 1 is almost ready. They're working on Port Harcourt 2. And when the 2 refineries in Port Harcourt, 1 and 2, with the combined installed an improved capacity of almost 200,000 doing PMS, but it may not be that quick and fast. And projections are that Dangote 2 may not be doing PMS until quite later in the year. That is a big problem because the twin problem of availability of products and then the pressure on demand for foreign exchange. When there's no demand for foreign exchange for PMS and other products anymore, there will be a lot of relief for the central banks, fueling and feeding the foreign exchange market with US dollar. That will be a lot of relief. But for now, that pressure is still there. We are told that it's getting critical, really. Yesterday, I managed to get fuel for the very first time since the removal of subsidy. I bought fuel for 580. I've been buying for 660, 670. But yesterday, on my way to the station, spent about 1 hour 40 minutes. I was compelled. That was why I stopped there to compel. Thank God I did, because by this morning, the situation, as at 8 a.m. this morning, as at noon this morning, the situation has spiraled so much that they're causing congestion wherever they're selling fuel. And you can understand where you have a mix of private vehicles, and then you also have the Okadas and tricycles. Those are the veritable tools for confusion, if not a breakdown of order outrightly. NNPCL is always telling us that there are enough products, but with demand. Why then do we have scarcity if there are enough products? IPMAN, the Independent Product Marketers Association of Nigeria, is saying something else. They say this is the period we are in spring, for the temperate countries. They say this is the period that they do their turnaround maintenance. Therefore, products may not be readily available. But we know we need them, didn't we spread, we know that they're going to be doing their turnaround maintenance, so why don't you spread the locations where you're going to be buying products from? So all of these things should have been put, or you stockpile, before the turnaround maintenance goes on in those locations. But certainly, adequate planning has not been done. That is why we have this situation at hand. So many, even when the NNPC Parakot 1 and 2 starts working, that's 1 and 2, they're different from there's one they call LMA, that's the petrochemical plant, refinery and petrochemical plant. So when they start functioning, they will still be distributing, not via pipelines. Those pipelines are now, certainly they have not carried products for a long, long while. Yet we have a subsidiary that is called PPMC. It has been merged with, I think, the depot. So these are non-functional subsidiaries of NNPC Limited. But anyway, even it is only the federal government and the Ministry of Finance that are the two shareholders of NNPC in 50-50% equity. I think at the appropriate time, which will be soon, NNPC should be taken to the open market. By that I mean the stock market, and due diligence will be done. And all those subsidiaries, non-functional, non-viable subsidiaries that have thousands of staff earning pay without necessarily doing much to justify their, huge pay. Yes, the oil and gas industry, they pay tidy sums. I've seen some of them retire and receive very, very tidy sums. So that is the challenge with PMS now. I think Ipman said in the next 2 weeks we'll still be at this. It is not a tidy thing. That after contending with high prices of everything, you still have to go and contend to get fuel in those filling stations. Well, we do hope that the needful will be done and this will be taken off the stress list. These are stressors, stressors. Queuing and people shout and, enter into all sorts of fracas in those stations. These are stressors. And you can add those other stressors of life in Nigeria specifically. I will be back shortly for the home run. Yes, thank you so much for staying with us. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station. And of course, Political Update is the show this Monday afternoon, the 29th day of April, year 2024. Yes, like I said earlier, when the show opened, I said this is the second to the last day of the first month of the second quarter. And of course, we regularly talk about plans and what constitutes a plan on this show. I'm sure you need to have a plan made out for year 2024. And of course, the first quarter is gone, with the second quarter, the first month of the second quarter is gone. And then you're saying, too much stress, let me just roll as things roll. No, you're not going to roll through life. You're not going to roll through the year just like that. There must be a plan. That is a planless roll, and it's not going to lead you nowhere. So you need to have a plan. And what constitutes a plan? A plan, we say, must have some guiding frameworks. It must have deliverables. That is why it is a plan. When you have deliverables, that makes it a plan. Something that looks like a plan, but for it to become a solid plan, those deliverables must have timelines. It's like you're saying, 2024, I'm going to build a house. Oh, yeah, sure, you're going to build a house. But you're not going to build a house in space. You need a piece of land to do that. So okay, I'm going to get a piece of land. Of course, you need to to ascertain the location where you need that piece of land to build a house. Or even if you're going to buy a house, you need to know the location and how much it costs in the location. And if it's going to be a piece of land, how much, so you need to know how much it requires to get a property in the location of your choice. So you got to work all these things down to the minutest details. Yes, you got to work it down to the minutest detail. And then, of course, the timelines. I'll do that. I'll get the property in the first half of the year. I will renovate it in the second half. Or these are the hallmarks. And of course, deliverables and timelines. But also important is your plan must be codified, black and white. Yes, not necessarily, longhand. Of course, we have devices, all sorts of devices now. Your telephone is a device. The systems arranged in front of us are devices that are reminders and all of that. So, because I say that because Ask anyone who was uh, divinely inspired with an idea. When that idea strikes and hits you, if you don't put it down, if you don't put it down or structure it in your head, you are never going to recall it in its original form. Just try it. Let an idea. That's why you see people, oh, you see poets, you see authors. The whole thing might not come, the thing might not come as a whole, but one, bits and pieces, they just fall into your laps and you put it down. If you don't put it down, you are never, just ask those who have experienced this, you are never going to recall it in the original form it occurred to you. I can tell you that because it has happened over and over, and it is something that I've shared with people. So, when you have an idea, when you have when you're putting a plan together, an idea occurs to you how to, go about the plan. You got to put it down. You got to put it down in black and white. Yes. And it doesn't have to be in longhand. It could be on your device that you can protect and all of that. So that when you're talking about your plan, you have all these hallmarks that make it a plan. Codified, deliverables, and timelines, and of course, any other additional. Yes, it is in your interest. It is in my own interest. I urge you. It is not over until it is over. 2024 is not even halfway gone. So, the ball is still in your court. And if you had tried and you are not getting the right result, I urge you to reevaluate your plans, reload, and relaunch. Yes. The race is not for the swift, but certainly for the focused and committed. I wish you all the very best as we wrap up this month and launch into the second month of the second quarter of year 2024. I'll be back shortly. Thank you so much for staying with us. Political update on, yes, Solutions 93.9 FM. Yes, we're talking about, of course, repeatedly, we're talking about transparency and accountability. And Plateau State Governor launches, that's Mutfwang, Caleb Mutfwang, launches or unveils an e-governance platform in the state. And he says it is aimed at fostering transparent, efficient, and accountable governance in the state. He disclosed this today in a statement through his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Giang Ebere, who encouraged the public to utilize the platform to engage the government and to offer information, opinions on policies, and inquiries on service offerings from MDAs while receiving timely feedback. You see, we have seen governments, we have seen institutions, we have seen set up this kind of platform. But the fact is, it is good. There's Freedom of Information Act out there, but some states may have not domesticated it, but it is apparent that that desire to have access to information. Why would people in public office hoard information? I think it's simply because whatever is being hoarded cannot stand any form of serious scrutiny. And when these things are scrutinized, of course, quite a number of things may come out that may be untoward. But it is important. Transparency is, look, all those countries that we refer to as advanced democracies, and we love to call cedar climbs. Transparency is the number one thing. Transparency. You can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. Yes, it's a culture that was grown over the years. It did not happen overnight. It's because they have developed institutions, and those institutions are running almost mechanically. And there's nobody there to, to regulate, to intervene. Yes, intervene, to do some personal intervention. No. They just run. People are those there to see that they are running. They don't. You cannot even intervene. I mean, questions will be asked. Why? This is the process. Why are you intervening in the process? In this country, a policeman catches you for breaching traffic rule, and the next thing you start saying, Mr. Rashidi, is it not the same language you are speaking? What has that got to do that you have breached traffic rule? These are the things that we allow, sentiments and all of that we allow to affect ways structures and institutions are designed to run. They are designed the same way that the structures and institutions of those so-called cedar climbs are designed. But here, rather than allow, just provide the necessary guidance. These are the procedures for the institution or the structure. They will start bending the rules. Apply the rule across the board. No, this is Mr. Ajimo. He's the husband of my niece. Therefore, he must not be subject to the full course of the rule. You can bend until they get to the point of even breaking the rules to satisfy, their relationships, and to satisfy and service their relationships. I believe that we're evolving, but at the same time, people are asking, how long, just like Sunday Okosu asked, how long shall it take us to get to the promised land? But let me assure you, I've seen some things in this since the reintroduction, because even as far back as the 70s we had traffic light. Since the reintroduction of traffic light in Ibadan, at least Ibadan, Oyo State, the strict observance and compliance with traffic lighting in Ibadan has been below par. Has been below par. Except in a few locations, people just breach traffic lights with total disregard. And the dangerous part is that if the traffic light passes me and somebody is breaching it, and I decide to just, and then one terrible accident or crash occurs. People maimed, lives lost, vehicles damaged. These are avoidable. These are very, very avoidable situations. And I think I've said it on this platform, that if you're not going to enforce compliance, maybe we should just remove the traffic lights, because if there won't be compliance. Well, Oyo State especially these new improved junctions that the governor just inaugurated. Beautiful job at Gate there. Beautiful job at the Civic Center junction. I'm sure some other junctions are due for that too. Awolowo Junction at Sango is due for junction improvement. The Awolowo Road is, I think, is one of the roads that has been awarded, listed for rehabilitation or reconstruction. And when are we going to have those roads listed? I think it's in the budget. Yes, in the budget. This is we're going into May. Your Excellency, when are we going to have those roads fixed? The ones for rehabilitation. Okay, I know that the Akobo Road has been fixed. I think that one was fixed by Ostroma, but I must say that yes, some parts of it now have drainages, but yes, very, very wide. But I am not so sure how long that road will last based on certain noticeable issues there. But that's also the road to the residence of the one of the residences, private residences of the governor. Certainly, they're not likely to do a shoddy job at least on the road to his residence. They will have to do something lasting. Yes. When are we going to have the other roads? I think 12. 12 inner roads. Or, well, I know there is Bodija, Ashi Basharu Road, the one that is called Rebenestio Lakode Road. I do hope that Awolowo Road is Awolowo Road to Oshuntogo. I do hope that it is also on it, because the Songo end, in fact, not just the Songo end, not just the Songo end, and portions of it are quite bad. Housing end is bad, towards the Songo Junction, very, very bad, and there are traffic lights there. Those who want to turn towards the cemetery, the moment they line up, those who want to turn towards Songo are unable to go past them, because ordinarily traffic light should not stop there. So these are the challenges that are outstanding in traffic. Yeah, there are some parts of Ibadan where the streets are 2 lanes. I mean, going from Gate to Molite, 2 lanes. But you know that 1 lane is always taken up for parking, because those who live around those places may not have access to their homes, driving in. So they park on the road. We are left with only 1 lane from Gate to Molite. The traffic is always not particularly flowing because of the parking, the markets on the road. And when are we're just like we had at Gate, when are we going to get these people off the road? Bodija, they're trading on the road. I suspect that by the time they are done with all the shopping complex between Bodija, Ujuri, and UI, I think, of course, those who own those shopping complex will not allow. But they're actually trading on the walkway. Yes, trading on the walkway. In fact, not just, I think they do it, but before noon, you see them on the walkway. When it is evening time, it is even worse. When are we going to have enforcement of the rule of law and those who are throwing garbage around, Ibadan and filth? That's not very, very tidy. The second largest city in the whole of the African continent. We can do better than that. And I think that is one of the reasons why the Rule of Law Act was signed into law by the governor. Of course, like Governor Ladoja will say, there must be prohibition. There must be provision before prohibition. When they were fixing the Gate Road junction improvement at Gate, there was provision for those who are selling in all of that place. They made provision for them. So that settled them. So let us hope that more of that will be done, and enforcement of traffic rules. The wantonness with which traffic lights are being breached is worrisome. Are we going to wait until it leads to one terrible accident? Are we going to wait? In Lagos, it takes an army to enforce obedience of traffic rules. And of course, they are raking in money for those who breach traffic rules. Are we going to wait until one terrible incident occurs before you will enforce compliance with those traffic lights? For God's sake, let's do something about all of this. Well, we're keeping those 3 states, especially the 2 states where elections are holding. We're keeping them on our radar. AJISOPE is trying to extricate himself from the impeachment of Philip Shaibu. I don't know how a new man in the political arena should be roped into that, but politicians and their antics. We wait as they go into full campaign. Sadly, in Ondo State, one of the coordinators of Lucky Aiyedatiwa was murdered. Investigations are ongoing in that regard. Well, that's where we're going to make it a wrap on Political Update today. Monday, the 29th day of April, 2029. By God's grace, next week Monday, will be another edition of Political Update. And of course, Pendulum will be on Sunday. Our deferred interviews will be back on Sunday on the Pendulum. Well, it's been AYODEJI, AJISOPE, presenting with Victory Oyedikachi, producing me. God bless you. God bless our union. Bye for now.
We break down the facts of news